Hello, listeners. This is Chris Frederick with StretchToWin.com, and I'm very excited to be with a colleague and one of my graduates of my Level 3 Medical Fascial Stretch Therapy, or she's a Fascia Stretch Specialist of our program that we have there, Andria Hassler. Hello, Andria.
Hello, Chris. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I understand that you worked with one of the teams going to the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 50. Is that true?
Yep, sure is. Super excited. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos, yeah. And so, are you working? With one player or with several players? What's up?
I have a handful of players I work with weekly.
And I'm you, and then there's anybody else, of course.
We do have, here at Denver Sports Recovery, we have about 17 providers that work for us. There's about 5 of us that work with the Broncos. I have a handful of key players that I work with on a weekly basis, sometimes 3 times a week. So I see about 7 or 8 guys weekly.
Yep. Peyton Manning one of those, or by any chance? Or?
He happens to be one of the clients I do work with, yes.
Okay, among others. Well, I'd like to start kind of like a lot of my listeners or readers of Facebook and so on, and your fellow colleagues in fascial stretch therapy. That's what really I'm talking about here. They're like, and I'm going to put this in a nutshell if you can. How did you get here? Working with Peyton Manning and the Broncos, like how did you get here from where you started?
Sure.
If you press the rewind button real quick without rushing you, it's like how did you get here?
I was really fortunate to work at a facility called Athletes Performance, which you're familiar with, of course. Now it's called Exos. And during my time there in Arizona, when I lived there for the 7 years that I worked at Athletes Performance, I obviously was exposed to all sorts of athletes. NFL players, for sure, were part of that. And really word of mouth. So Colorado, this is my hometown. I moved back here in 2011. And some of the athletes that I worked with actually in Arizona were NFL Combine athletes at the time. And when I moved back to Colorado, where I happened to be Denver Broncos players. So from there, it just kind of transpired into working with multiple players. So word of mouth, to be honest, my background, obviously not only being a fascia stretch therapist, but I'm also a soft tissue therapist, I think really does help. So having both is a really key component to these guys' recovery.
That's awesome. Well,
yeah.
I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to bend my head, and I'm wearing Super Bowl 47 in 2009 when Ann Frederick and I myself went with the Cardinals to Tampa Bay, where they played the Steelers and lost by 3 freaking points, which devastated the entire state of Arizona, because we were all in a dream state, because it's like, what, from the bottom of the NFL to the Super Bowl? How did the Cardinals do that?
Right.
So we were privileged to go then, and now I'm so happy to see you and others going to working with pros, and now you're working with the best in the league.
Absolutely. Yeah, very fortunate.
I'm so excited about that. So getting back to FST, how do you use it? Like recovery, regen? Do you use it on game day? In a nutshell, how do you use it with your athlete clients?
So I kind of have a routine. The guys that I see multiple times a week, we use Tuesdays, which is their off days. I think that's league-wide as well, not just the Denver Broncos. Tuesdays we use as their recovery day. So we do a much slower, obviously, session, sometimes 90 minutes long, really just using that to help with the recovery. I obviously do other tools in there as well with the background that I do have. Fridays is kind of a prep day. If they come in on a Friday, same thing. We kind of still use the slow technique. Friday or Sunday morning pregame, I stretch 4 or 5 of the guys pregame, and it is a very rapid 25 to 30 minute stretch, just really getting them ready to walk out the door. So usually they leave here. Always, feedback from them is it takes me less time on the field when I'm there to get warmed up for the game day.
That's pretty awesome. That's very extensive. Yeah. Do you or your staff travel to away games at all when they go away?
Typically not. Yeah. We do not travel for the most part. It's kind of cumbersome with the NFL a little bit. They don't have a lot of time. They also have curfews to meet. So it's a little bit more challenging to travel with the NFL players.
Yeah, tell me about it. Does anyone work in the facility for the Broncos at all? Like, I think some people are curious, like how your business is, vaguely, generally set up. Without going to any details you don't want to go into, but it's like, some people want to work for the team, and Ann and I never work for the Cardinals per se, right? We work for the players.
Yeah, and essentially that's the same way it's set up for us here. And I prefer it that way, to be honest. I think that there's so many guys on a team, and to be able to take care of them, you really kind of need more time than a 15 or 20-minute window. So therefore, we the athletes come to us. We sometimes travel to their homes to treat them, but for the most part, we just kind of keep it player to therapist, player to Denver Sports Recovery, for that matter.
And some people wondered, some of the questions came in, and there, all the FST people said, congratulations, Andria. I mean, the whole almost 4,000 people now in our network are like, they're right behind you, and they're like, they're just amazed. So I was thinking about, the staff, they were hired, the staff of the Broncos or any NFL team, they have their athletic trainers, they have their physical therapists, maybe even massage therapists. They're all different. Yeah. But how does the regular staff, the training staff, feel about outsiders? Because we had to deal with that, right? And there's always the old, the old boy, the old school, the old network on the inside, and then we're on the outside. So how do you deal with being politically correct with that, if that's the right word?
Yeah, Chris, that's a really great question. I mean, I think that, to be honest, as we know, there's egos in every environment that we live in. And I think it really comes down to really respecting. I really respect the training staff of especially the Denver Broncos, for that matter. I mean, without them, the players would not be, doing some of the things that they're doing. We're just a side part of that. And I really try to maintain an open communication. I'm really open to them contacting me. The head strength coach of the Denver Broncos is Luke Richardson, who used to work at Exos, or Athletes Performance, now Exos. And Luke and I have a really great relationship. And, there's a good open dialogue in regards to, what's going on. And I'm a big fan of communication. So really there's no hiding anything. I just, I'm here to do my job, and I don't want to get in anybody's way. And what I have to offer is really great, and I hope it works for them. And so it is a challenging situation, I'll be honest. Yeah. I mean, you gotta just really communication, like I said.
That's the best thing, best advice, I think, for anybody out there. I'm 110% with you there. The first thing that I said when Ann and I flew in to work with the Eagles against the Patriots for another Super Bowl, and I walked up to the head trainer, I shook his hand, I said, I'm Chris Frederick. Congratulations on you and helping the team get to the Super Bowl with, no injuries or reduced injuries and in great shape. It's because of you guys in the trenches day to day. Yeah, I said, we're just here to do what we can to assist. If there's anything we could do, but we don't want to be in your way. And he just melted and said, great to have you here.
Yep.
So communication is about everything.
For sure.
That's fantastic. I guess finally would be advice for those who want to work with pros. Yeah. there's so many of my people in the network. They're like, come on, hook me up, or how do I get in the pros? And I'm like, it's not that easy. I mean, I can't just make a phone call and say see so and so necessarily. Any advice?
Oh gosh,
work for you.
I know. That's another question I get often, especially therapists that want to come and work at Denver Sports Recovery. I think there's this expectation of, well, you guys see all the professional athletes, that must be my in. Unfortunately, I don't have the clear answer. I think it really is being in the right place at the right time, knowing some of the right people, continuing to really work hard at what you do, continue to learn more, and just push hard. Just keep trying to get yourself involved in situations like that. Mm-hmm. It's not a quick thing. Like I said, I started this in 2004 doing this with you. I got stretch certified in 2006. That was a huge niche for me. That was something that the pro players were not really familiar with at the time. They were getting their familiarity with with fascia stretch therapy. And that's just that's huge. Being fascia stretch therapy certified is a really, really key component to working with athletes because they seek it now.
Yeah. Can you speak on that? Can you speak on that a little bit? Because we were obviously Ann before me was the only one really doing that in the NFL at all.
Yeah.
And then but now it's spreading like wildfire with our graduates, which we're so proud of. And, NFL that's part of our heart, because we spent so much time working with the NFL. Now to you guys, we don't do that anymore. So can you speak a little bit about how they're receiving FST, like the word's out about that's an essential part of training or what?
Yeah. And, everyone loves an instant gratification, and FST really kind of offers that when you get off the table. So, a player will get off the table and say, "Hey, do you know of a therapist here?" Or when players get traded, the very first thing they say is, "I need an FST therapist." So that's another great way to kind of really, the network inside of our network is huge as far as referral source goes. Right. I can't tell you how many guys I've received that have come here to Colorado from other places. So really, that's another way. Really get to know your FST family, understand what they do, kind of communicate, be open to, learning from them as well. I think that's a big thing too. Really talk to those FST providers that work with the athletes. If you really want to get involved, I think that's a really great way of doing that is call and talk to someone. Just find out what they're doing and let them know you're available. So if a player's traveling to your hometown or city or whatever it is, hey, I would like to know if you're available. There's so many new practitioners constantly with you guys that it's hard to know. I don't know who's new sometimes. I don't know if the website is fully updated, how often it's updated. So it'd be nice to know.
Yeah. Well, just real quick, we're revamping the entire website, and we're going to have a membership for you guys where only FST practitioners can be in, and special interest groups. So those work just with NFLers. Yeah. And sharing with each other challenges, working around schedules or anything else, but specific about what you see, common patterns. And I could foresee you guys, and we'll be in that group too, sharing, the experience, the knowledge, the new things that happen, the word that's out together that's common to professional football players. I think that would be awesome. And so that our goal is to have multiple special interest groups like that within the membership. And I think that will help the referral of the network, so know who's who. You can talk to them privately or in the group. And I just think, there's an endless amount of possibilities of that helping everybody.
Absolutely. I think that's great.
Especially our clients,
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Andria, unfortunately, that's all we have time for. And I know you have clients now, so that works for both of us. But you know what? I really appreciate your time this busy time of year. Go Broncos.
Yes, go Broncos.
I'm so excited.
Don't say that about the Panthers when you interview the Panther people, Chris.
I know. I'm going to be interviewing a Fascia Stretch Therapy practitioner. He shall remain nameless so that they'll look forward to it. And we'll see what he's doing with Cam Newton and the Panthers.
Yeah, there you go.
He just flew to San Francisco yesterday, he told me. He was on the PGA Tour.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And then he flew to San Francisco.
Wow.
To work with them. So we'll see what he says.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, if anyone wants to reach you for, do you have any job openings for any FST practitioners, or maybe we'll just post that?
We're always looking here in Denver. We're always looking for FST people. We have a goal of opening up 2 other locations here in the next year and a half. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic.
And also potentially coming to Scottsdale, Arizona soon. So,
well, you can always post classified ads for work on our website. So we'll let people know. Where can people who want to get therapy? Can regular people come and see you? Do they have to be?
Absolutely. Yeah. We treat the professional athlete. That's just because of our high quality care here. But we are definitely, our goal is general population to teach the importance of recovery.
Where can they, website? Is that where people can find you, prospects?
Yep, denversportsrecovery.com. Or you can email me at Andria, Andria, at denversportsrecovery.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's always great to speak with you and see you. Again, too. Go Broncos.
Go
Super
Broncos.
Bowl 50. Can't believe it. We're here next Sunday. Get ready.
Thank you.
Well, thank you too. We'll be in touch.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, listeners. This is Chris Frederick at stretchtowin.com. Ta-ta for now.